All right, so you ever walk into a furniture store, run your hand over a gorgeous table and think, wow, that's beautiful wood. But then you see the price tag.
Yeah.
Turns out solid wood furniture is expensive. But here's the thing. That gorgeous grain might not be solid wood at all. It could be veneer. And today we're going deep on the folks behind those surprisingly thin, surprisingly beautiful wood surfaces, veneer slicer operators.
And let me tell you, there's a lot more to it than just, well, slicing wood. We've got a career guide here, plus some insights into how RoleCatcher is changing the job hunt itself. So, ready to slice into this?
I'm ready. The career guide describes this job as taking lumber and essentially shaving off these paper-thin sheets, which then get applied to other materials. Kind of like giving, say, a plain plywood table a luxury wood makeover.
Exactly. It's all about enhancing the look and feel without the solid wood price tag.
Yeah.
And the artistry comes in with the way they slice it. We're talking about three main machines: rotary lathes, slicing machines, and half-round lathes. Each one interacts with the wood grain differently.
Okay, so it's more than just hitting a button. Walk me through these different cuts. Why does it matter?
Imagine a piece of oak with that beautiful swirling grain pattern. Now, on a rotary lathe, the wood is actually spun against a blade, kind of like peeling an apple in one long strip. This gives you a very wide, continuous veneer, almost exaggerating those swirling patterns. It's stunning for things like curved furniture or even musical instruments.
Wow, I never would have pictured it like that. So what about the slicing machine? How's that different?
The slicing machine is more like, well, slicing bread. It produces a very straight, uniform cut, showcasing the grain in a more linear way. This is great for things like flat panels or doors where you want a more consistent look. Think modern furniture, clean lines.
Okay, so we've got swirling, we've got linear. What's the half-round lathe bring to the party?
That was the wild card. Imagine rocking the wood back and forth as it's cut. That's the half-round lathe in action. It produces a veneer with a kind of wavy, almost quilted look depending on the grain. Some high-end furniture, decorative accents, even some stunning architectural details.
So not only does the type of wood matter, but the way you cut it completely changes the look and feel. It's like choosing the right paint stroke for a masterpiece, except you're revealing the art hidden within the wood itself.
Absolutely. And that's where the skill of a veneer slicer operator really shines. They're not just operating machines. They're using their knowledge of wood grain patterns and cutting techniques to create something truly beautiful and unique.
It's like they say measure twice, cut once. But in this case, it's more like analyze the grain, choose your cut, and reveal the masterpiece.
And speaking of careers, you'd be surprised how much opportunity there is to grow within this field. Our trusty career guide actually lays out a pretty clear path from entry level to, believe it or not, management.
So we're not just talking about a dead-end job here. There's an actual career ladder you can climb.
That's right. You start at the entry level where you're learning the ropes, assisting more seasoned operators, you're getting comfortable with the machinery, mastering safety protocols, those kinds of things.
Right, paying your dues, getting your hands dirty, or should I say sawdusty?
Exactly. But then you move up to junior veneer slicer operator. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Okay, hit me with it. What does a junior operator get to do?
Well, you're running the machines more independently now, maybe even specializing in a particular type of cut or machine. You're also troubleshooting issues, collaborating more with the team, becoming a more valuable asset overall.
So you're not just slicing veneer at this point. You're becoming a crucial part of the production process. And from there, it's on to the big leagues, senior veneer slicer operator. What's the view like from the top?
Now we're talking leadership. Senior operators might be training those entry-level folks, maybe even analyzing production data to make the whole operation smoother. They're collaborating with management, developing procedures.
Whoa, so you could actually end up managing a whole team. Talk about upward mobility. This isn't just a job. It's a viable career path with real growth potential. Who knew you could climb the ladder by slicing wood?
And, it highlights something really important about skilled trades in general. There's often a clear trajectory from hands-on work to leadership and management. That potential for growth is something to keep in mind no matter what career you're considering.
It's like that saying, the only way is up. But in this case, it's the only way is through the wood, right?
There you go. And speaking of through the wood, it's actually a good time to bring in that AI angle we touched on earlier.
Oh yeah, RoleCatcher. Because we found these sources about veneer slicing on RoleCatcher.com, which is all about using AI to help people find jobs.
Right. And what's fascinating is how AI is changing both sides of the job market for job seekers and the employers. It's not just about automating tasks, it's about working smarter and more efficiently.
So it's like AI can help you land a job as a veneer slicer operator, but it can also potentially change how that job is done.
Exactly. Imagine AI-powered systems optimizing cutting patterns to minimize waste, or predicting machinery maintenance needs before problems even arise.
That's wild. So while a lot of people might think of AI replacing jobs in this case, it could actually enhance the work of a veneer slicer operator.
Precisely. And it's not just limited to this field. AI and automation are transforming industries across the board. So understanding these technologies and how to work with them will be increasingly important for anyone entering the workforce, whether you're slicing veneer or designing software.
It's about adaptability, right? Being open to new technologies and how they can complement our existing skills.
Absolutely. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's get back to the nitty-gritty of being a veneer slicer operator. Our career guide lays out some pros and cons, and I have to say some of these pros were pretty surprising.
Like, what did any of them jump out at you?
Well, you've got the usual good pay, job security. Those
Oh,
are always
yeah.
nice. But then they mentioned potential for creativity, and I thought that was interesting.
Really, I wouldn't have thought of this as a creative field. It just seems so technical.
It is, but at the same time, you're working with a natural material using your judgment to bring out its beauty. You're making decisions about which cut will look best, how it'll be used in the final product. There's artistry in that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's like you're not just slicing wood, you're slicing it with a purpose, with the end result in mind.
Exactly. And don't forget that satisfaction of taking raw materials and turning them into something beautiful and valuable.
Okay, so creativity, job satisfaction, but it can't all be good. What about the downsides?
Well, they did mention that it can be physically demanding. You're on your feet a lot lifting heavy wood. Working with machinery can also be dangerous,
Yeah, definitely want to be careful.
for sure. But I think even those downsides can teach you valuable skills. Physical work builds resilience. You have to pay attention to detail. And working with dangerous equipment makes you focused. Those are all good skills to have.
Definitely. And hopefully no one's getting hurt. Safety first.
Exactly. But you see what I mean? Even the challenges of a job can help you grow. You're learning how to solve problems, how to work alone and on a team.
So we've gone from slicing wood to AI and job hunting to the creativity of this skilled trade, and now we're talking about transferable skills.
And that's what's so fun about these deep dives. You never know where they'll take you. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is how much opportunity there is in unexpected places. I mean, who knew that being a veneer slicer operator could be so interesting?
Right. It makes you wonder what other jobs are out there that sound simple but are actually really cool.
Exactly. It reminds you not to judge a book by its cover.
Well said. So to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive into the world of veneer slicing has given you a new appreciation for this line of work and how technology is changing things.
And maybe it's made you a little curious. Maybe you'll look at furniture differently, or maybe you'll be inspired to check out a job you hadn't thought about before.
Either way, we hope you'll join us again for another deep dive into a topic that's sure to surprise you. Until then, happy learning.